Welcome back for another Rangers shoot-around. Men's basketball coach Andrew Brown joining us with the Bobby Knight sweater vest.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Is this becoming your signature look, or?
I've been wearing a lot of sweaters and sweater vests on the road, not at home obviously, but they're more comfortable when you're on the road and you don't have to pack a suit, which, as far as we're traveling, the lighter you can pack, the better off and more comfortable you're going to be.
Makes sense. The type of insight you get only by watching this weekly interview.
That's right.
Well, we're coming off a short week, but a successful week. I guess anytime you go undefeated in a week, it's a good week.
Yeah, it rounded out the first half of conference play for us. I thought the day off really helped with our legs. Not having to play Thursday, I thought that was great for our legs. But we showed a little rust at the beginning of that game, which is the other end of it. When you get out of that routine a little bit, you can show a little rust, which I thought we did a little the first half. I didn't think it was anything, real bad, but we showed a little bit of rust. But I'll take the previous, I'll take the little bit of rest this time of year when you can get it, and good atmosphere in here, and we were able to pull out a victory.
Well, you mentioned after the game that you didn't feel like, in the players' eyes, that Southwestern is the rivalry that maybe it was back in the 90s, 80s, and all the way back to the 20s, but I think the crowd still felt some of that rivalry, especially the ones that have been around for a while. And I think the players fed off of that.
Yeah. I told our players they wouldn't really know how important it is until they get in the atmosphere and how important it is to our community and the people that work at our university. Because most kids, when they're choosing, they're making their college choices in this part of the state, they're looking at us, they're looking at Panhandle, and they're looking at Southwestern many times. So it's a natural rivalry because students are generally choosing one over the other.
We talked about the first half. You got into things a little bit slowly, but the second half, man, 53 points. Just another day at the office at Percival Fieldhouse.
I don't know about that. I think that the fact that we were able to hit our free throws the second half is what made the second half look so much better than the first half. 5 of 13 from the free throw line. Well, 5 of 13 is not a good three-point shooting percentage, and much less a free throw shooting percentage. So we felt like that was something that we just needed to relax and maybe just play instead of getting caught up in the atmosphere. And both teams, you could tell were into the atmosphere. You could tell that they had the body language. They really needed to get a win, and we had the body language. We really needed to get a win, and we hit a few more shots than they did the second half and made a few more plays off our defense, which really that was the difference in the game. Both teams really competed and played hard. I thought we were able to create a little bit of our defense, and Daryl just really elevated his game the second half to put us over the top.
Well, big picture now, you're at the turn, sole possession of third place, but then more importantly, you have some control over your destiny. You got this trip coming up to Arkansas this week, obviously, but then the two league leaders come to Percival Fieldhouse the week after. So it's set up if you can take care of business.
It is. And I think a lot of people are trying to tell us that same thing, like we don't know that. But I think that the big thing is you have to approach every game the way you've approached them all year long. The very first game of the year, we worried about Rogers State. We didn't worry about Northeastern. We didn't worry about Fort Hays. We didn't worry about anything the next week. Right now, our 100% sole focus is on Arkansas Monticello. They're a team that deserves our full focus. That is just a tremendously well-coached and well-disciplined basketball team. Their kids play so hard. They play so physical that if you start worrying about Southern Arkansas and you start worrying about Harding and Tetco next week, they're gonna take you to the woodshed. So the only school that we're even thinking about right now that has our 100% respect is Arkansas Monticello.
Well, Monticello was such an interesting game because you played these teams in the reverse order at home, and it was a shootout against Southern Arkansas. And then you turn right back around 2 days later, and that, by far this year, of the games I've seen, was the most physical game that we've played. Was that game against Monticello?
Well, if you're not going to be at the game Thursday, I think that's probably going to be I think both teams are more physical than they were then. and I think that them being at home, they have a style that works really well for them. Their kids have really owned into what their roles are, and they're sitting at 6-5 in the league really after I think a 1-3 start. So they, like I said, if you don't give them their due respect, they're gonna make you look really, really bad. Our guys understand how good they are and understand the type of respect they need. And I really think we have a mindset as a team right now that the next one is the most important one, and our guys really want to get into this thing and make a run at it.
Well, and I suspect that Monticello's big issue, it seemed like the last time we saw them, was they had the pieces up front in that front court. What they didn't have was the scorers, and now they're starting, like you said, to have some guys finding their roles. Had the league's leading scorer in Forge at over 20 points per game, and they present some challenges.
Oh, they present challenges. They're not the deepest team in the league, but they've got enough. I mean, they're like us. They got enough depth to beat people. They're two baseline kids. I'm not going to go in their names, but they're very, very good defensive rebounders. They really work to hold you to one shot. Corey Forge is as good of a shooter as there is in this league. I mean, this league is full of them. We saw one Saturday with the Zell Elijah kid and the Cornelius kids at Southwestern. Yeah, I didn't say that name right.
That was a noble attempt, though. Zelalia.
And then Austin Mitchell over at OBU, and then we've got a really good shooter, Marshall Bell. Corey Forge can go off and give you 30 if you're not attentive to him, and we're going to have to be very alert to him while understanding they got other kids that can hurt you. They're a good matchup for us because I think personnel-wise we can match some things they do, but they make you be at your best and at your toughest. In turn, I think we cause some matchup problems for them too.
Well, it was nice to be able to break through on that last trip, get the win at Ouachita Baptist, because has the approach changed now? Has the mindset changed when you go back on the road? Have they learned something from this last trip?
Well, I think so. I mean, I think you realize when you're in position to win games and you're on the road, you got to go take the games. I felt like OBU, we made plays. I don't know that our defense in the second half was just awful. We had a few breakdowns that would really concern you being on the road. But I thought overall, they made some plays, made some shots over a contested hand, and I mean OBU's a very good team. So I mean, go to their house and beat them, kind of a feather in our cap, and then had a chance to win at Henderson. We did not defend the way you had to. Part of that's my fault, going zone and doing some different things, which I thought was the right thing to do. I think we still felt like that was the right thing to do. But going to Monticello, I mean, we have to be the most physical team, that's your challenge number one, because they are probably the most physical team in the league, them and Ouachita Baptist. So you got to go in there with that mindset that you're going to take a beating and a pounding, and that you're not going to get plays given to you. You got to go make them. And that's our guys just have to have that mentality to go make plays and to get stops and play together.
We'll have a good week of practice, and of course Thursday night at Arkansas Monticello, Saturday at Southern Arkansas. Keep checking right here at RideRangersRide.com for updates throughout the week. See you next week.
Thank you.